Reflecting on the 15 events we've had, it's been a season to remember for all of our teams. All 16 teams have at least one podium and 100 points already. It's the tightest field from top to bottom we've ever seen, and no fewer than 6 teams still in it to win it here today. Welcome to the Team Quadrilla Marble League Season 5 finale. Under the lights here at the Marathon, we are here to crown a champion. No precursor in the B division for the Marathon here in the Snake Pit. Event 16 of the A division, the one and only time we will see this course for 25 laps of racing. Marbles have come out in droves to see who will win it all here in Season 5. We've had marbles that have been here with us for all 16 events. We've had marbles come from all around the world here, just tuning in for this final event to see who wins it all, including the VIP Individual Quadrilla Marble League marbles here today. They'll be seeing some of the marbles they've competed against battle for the overall championship for their teams, and that trophy that will be perched at the end of the course for all the marbles to see as they finish every single lap. That is what they are all playing for here today in the Marathon. If you're unfamiliar with the Marathon format, marbles will start in heats of 4 at the top in the funnels, then crisscross in the helix section down below. The finishing order of each lap will be the starting order of the next lap. There are 3 laps in the heats, 4 laps in the semi-finals, and 5 laps in the finals. And there you can see our 6 contenders in it to win it here. The Rosebloods, Pumpkin Patch, Deep Divers, Golden Cheeses, Venomous Vipers, and the Maze Runners. Those are our 6 teams that can still win the championship. Bobble Squad in 7th can still make the podium. And looking at the Coaches Championship of just the individual events, no less than 10 teams can still win the Coaches Championship. So if your team can't win the main championship, well, there may be something to play for here in this final event. But in the Marathon, it's a chaotic, long, arduous event. Heats of 4. There you can see how they are classified. Deep Divers and Maze Runners in the first heat, then it's the Pumpkin Patch in the second, the Rosebloods in the third, and the Golden Cheeses and our host, the Venomous Vipers, the contenders, in the 4th heat. We'll do a full 3-lap test run here with the test marbles to give you the full experience of the Marathon, a heat of it here. They split into 2 funnels. This is going to be the only lap where they have 2 different funnels here, where the Death Adders will take the lead from the bottom funnel ahead of the Snake Eyes. Ocean Ophidians nowhere to be seen, and it will be single file to the finish line, Death Adder, Snake Eyes, and the Copperheads. So that order will be how they start lap 2, and they'll all start from the same funnel from lap 2 and in lap 3. So after the first lap, it is hard to make on overtakes, so you need to be in a good position here. You can see they'll be in the same funnel. Talking permutations of the championship, the Rosebloods and Pumpkin Patch control their own destiny. If they win the event, they will win the championship. The Deep Divers in 3rd place, they're only 6 points behind the Rosebloods. If they win, they just need the Rosebloods to finish 3rd or lower for them to win. Oh, you can see Ocean Ophidians taking the lead there, coming from last place. You can see fortunes can really change here in the Marathon if there's chaos that will happen. And back to the permutations, the Golden Cheese and Venomous Vipers, those teams are tied on points in 4th place, but they need a silver to at least pass the Rosebloods. If they don't get a silver, they will not pass the Rosebloods, and they will not win the championship. The Maze Runners, meanwhile, in 6th place, they need to win the event. They need the Rosebloods to finish dead last, and they need a lot of help as well. But the Maze Runners with starts. Their captain won this event last season, so if anyone's going to pull a miracle for their team, it is them. As we see the end of the test run here, Snake Eyes and Death Adders going up into 1st and 2nd after this 3rd lap. So it is single file after the 1st lap, but you can see things can really change here in the Marathon. One DNF you can go from 1st to last. But now we're going to get started with the main event, and off they go. Deep Divers and Poison Ivy in the top funnel, Maze Runners and Bacon Brawlers in the bottom funnel. As the top funnel marbles that have the better getaway, Deep Divers have the lead. Bacon Brawlers are stuck. They've been halted by the Maze Runners here, and Poison Ivy's going to fall off the course. Venom is off the course. They're going to go all the way back to the back. This means Deep Divers and Maze Runners, our 2 contenders in this heat, are both in the transfer positions. Seabed, one of the most decorated marbles in the Quadrilla Marble League. They've had championships in both the team and the individual, trying to bring their team a 2nd title here in Season 5. They lead ahead of the Maze Runners with stars, trying to win the Marathon for the 2nd year running, potentially do enough to give their team a miracle championship. Our 2 contenders in 1st and 2nd leading into lap 2. That is the Bacon Brawlers and the Poison Ivy, their captain, Venom, winner of the elimination race, potentially going for the most valuable marble position here. Bacon Brawlers also up there in the Coaches Championship, so everyone has something to fight for. There's contact here. Maze Runners now stuck. Poison Ivy and the Maze Runners are both halted. And it's going to be the Bacon Brawlers contending with the Deep Divers for the lead, but they can't get by. It was close between Carnitas and Seabed here. Out in front, Deep Divers did get halted. That's what closed that gap for the Bacon Brawlers. But pivotally for the Maze Runners, they're now out of the transfer position. And as it stands, this will be the end of their championship run. They and the Poison Ivy are going to be in 3rd and 4th after lap 2 here. Starch needs to get by Carnitas or needs to find some way into that top 2 to keep their championship alive. But Seabed is being clinical right now in this first heat. They haven't left first after this lap so far. And if they can do that or at least hold on to second, they will get advancement. And they are stretching it ahead of the Bacon Brawlers and the Maze Runners. It's close for second place, but it is not close out in front. It's going to take a DNF for Seabed to not advance at this point. And the Maze Runners will get shoved aside by the Poison Ivy. Deep Divers will get the win. That is the Bacon Brawlers. Those two are going to advance. The Maze Runners will be last in this heat. Their championship run is done. But the Deep Divers have been absolutely clinical. Made it look easy in this heat. They are the 3rd place team in the championship, but now pressure is mounting on the 2nd and 1st place teams, Pumpkin Patch and Rosebloods, in the next few heats. Starch, they give it their best effort here. They were looking racy, especially in the early part of the heat, but they're going to be in last place in this heat. Bottom 4 result for them. Venom, not a good result for them as well. They're going to be in that bottom paddle for the bottom 3 spots. But the Bacon Brawlers, their coaches championship is still alive here as well. But now we go on to the 2nd heat. Pumpkin Patch is the main contender here, the only contender in fact for the overall championship. They're here with Team Atlantic, the Cold Fusion and the Bobble Squad. Team Atlantic off the course. Team Atlantic will go all the way back to last, and Pumpkin Patch are slow. Pumpkin Patch, who had the lead briefly after Team Atlantic fell off, they will get passed by the Cold Fusion. Hydrogen will take the lead after lap 1. Hydrogen, a marble that won this event in the B division last season, so don't underestimate them. They could play spoiler here against the Pumpkin Patch here in the 2nd heat. As it stands, they are on the bubble is Squash, a marble that has podiumed in the marathon before, in the B division though, of course. This is their first A division. They're trying to do what the Venomous Vipers couldn't do and win their first ever A division. But they have to hold on to this top 2 spot here. Really want to advance with so much competition in the marathon. The back 2 are very slow, are the Bobble Squad and Team Atlantic, and Pumpkin Patch have gotten by the Cold Fusion for the lead. They've gotten by for the lead, and contact there at the end. They will hold on just about ahead of the Cold Fusion, and the back 2 both following off at pretty much the exact same place. We'll have to see who gets ruled to be ahead in 3rd place. But really, it's Pumpkin Patch and Cold Fusion, the only teams really battling here for the win in the 2nd heat. It's been those two well ahead of the back 2 in the 2nd heat with 1 lap to go. Pumpkin Patch now have a cushion. They're up into 1st place. It's going to be hard for them to fall more than 1 position here. Need to keep it clean now. That's their focus in this 3rd lap. Off they go. The first 3 are very close though. Bobble Squad could make things tricky for Squash here. It's going to be close, but the Bobble Squad are stuck. The Bobble Squad are completely stuck. And now the front 2 are well ahead. Pumpkin Patch and Cold Fusion. There's contact. There is contact there. Cold Fusion shoving aside Pumpkin Patch. That gets them stuck. They have to be pushed across the line by Team Atlantic. If Team Atlantic went the other way, it would have been doomed for the Pumpkin Patch. But going on the same path as the Pumpkin Patch means that they will push them across the line. Team Atlantic will not advance. Bobble Squad will not advance. Pumpkin Patch, it was almost disaster, but they have done enough to join the Deep Divers in the semi-final. Brilliantly done by Squash. It was, despite a hiccup there, they do enough. And their championship is very much alive here. Rosebloods now with their 2nd and 3rd place rivals here, both advancing. The pressure is on for Waterlily, a 2-time bronze medalist in the marathon, and they're well ahead in the top funnel. They're going to have the lead out of the top funnel. Then it's the Treat Fleet and the Valley Dashers. Valley Dashers shove aside the Treat Fleet for 2nd place. Valley Dashers, a marble with Valley, who got 1st place in the marathon back in season 3. Of course, Rosebloods won season 3 back then, didn't need to win it back then, the marathon, to win it overall, and they're trying to do the double here. Like the Deep Divers, they're also going for their 2nd championship. They lead here ahead of the Valley Dashers and the Treat Fleet and the Shadow Riders here. But Gloom, don't underestimate them as well. Individual Quadrilla Marble League champion, one of the best marbles in all of the Quadrilla Marble League. Have to keep that in mind in this 2nd heat, in this 3rd heat. And off they go. Gloom now well off the back though. It's the top 3 that are close. Treat Fleet and Valley Dashers could give Rosebloods a bit of company here. Oh, it's close, but Valley Dashers are just about going to get pushed aside. The Valley Dashers are pushed aside. They're all the way to the back, and the Rosebloods will come out of that unscathed. They were very close with the Treat Fleet and the Valley Dashers here. For a moment there, I thought the Valley Dashers might have got by here. But here's where Treat Fleet pushes aside Valley Dashers. That allows the Rosebloods, without any contact, to stretch their lead. And they are trying to do what the Deep Divers did and lead wire to wire in their heat. Water Lily has been clinical in this heat. Haven't exited first place yet. But still, all could change in this final lap. Now, Tree Fleet in second place, Shadow Riders in third, but the Rosebloods don't want any of that battle. They want to be stretching it ahead of the rest of the field right now. It's slow for the Shadow Riders and the Tree Fleet. Rosebloods should have easy advancement as long as they keep it clean, and yes, they will. Valley Dashers are off the course. Shadow Riders will have second place. Then it's the Tree Fleet, but the Rosebloods have gone wire to wire, just like the Deep Divers did. Pumpkin Patch also went wire to wire in terms of advancement positions. Both them and the Deep Divers didn't exit the top two for the entirety of their heats, and so do the Rosebloods. The challenge has been met, and our top three are all advancing on to the semi-finals. Brilliantly done by Water Lily here. By advancing as well, they have knocked out both the Golden Cheeses and the Venomous Vipers. Before they can even race a single lap, Mozzarella and Anaconda are no longer playing for the overall championship. They are too far back in points. They just want a good end to the season. It's all for pride here, especially for the Venomous Vipers here. The home team in their final event. Oh, they're slow. They're completely stuck. And Green Supreme are off the course. Green Supreme go hurtling off the course. That allows Mozzarella of the Golden Cheeses to get the win in this first lap. And it's the Efficient Eggs with Omelette in second. Mozzarella of the Golden Cheeses, they still have the Coaches Championship to play for. They lead that championship of just the individual events. 2 individual gold medals in this season. Could Mozzarella make it 3? They're one of those few past marathon winners here. In fact, double podiumer in Season 2 and Season 4. In Season 4, of course, silver medal. That got them the overall championship. Can't play for that this time though, but Mozzarella, one of the best marbles in all of the Team Quadrilla Marble League, they really want a good end to the season here. Head of the Efficient Eggs, who's leading a train behind them with the green marbles of the Venomous Vipers and the Green Supreme. And the Venomous Vipers are going past. They're going stuck again. Venomous Vipers are stuck now. It's the Golden Cheese playing catch up against the Efficient Eggs. The Efficient Eggs somewhere got a bye for the lead here. Oh, there's where the Golden Cheeses got stuck. They are held up, holding up the Green Supreme as well, and that's what allowed Omelette of the Efficient Eggs to sail past into first place. And despite not finishing another lap, the Venomous Vipers will still be in third place because they are on the course. That's better than Chartreuse of the Green Supreme, who's going to be falling off the course for the second lap in a row. They'll be in fourth, heading to the final lap. But the Efficient Eggs lead ahead of the Golden Cheeses. These two have stayed in their advancement position for the entirety of this heat. Can they hold on? It's a close pack in this final lap here. Oh, it's going to probably have some contact here in the high contact zone. Golden Cheeses are done. They're nowhere to be seen. Golden Cheeses will be lost unless someone falls off here. Green Supreme will go from 4th to 1st in this final lap. Brilliant comeback for them. Where did it happen for them? Oh, pushing aside the Golden Cheeses Mozzarella, taking full advantage of staying close with them. And that chaos that ensued in this lap with all those models so close, that really brought Chartreuse back in this race. Brilliant comeback for the Green Supreme. They will beat the Efficient Egg, who just narrowly hold on to advancement over the Venomous Vipers, our home team. In their final event as hosts will get 10th place. That's still respectable. They will get 4th place in the championship. Golden Cheeses and Maze Runners in 13th and 14th. They will get 5th and 6th in the championship. But there you can see our 2 semifinals, our top 3 are set. Our overall podium is set. The big question is in what order. The Rosebloods in the first semi-final, the Deep Divers and the Pumpkin Patch from the first 2 heats. They are both going to the second semi-final. So Rosebloods all alone here in terms of contenders, and they look to be behind the Efficient Eggs and behind the Cold Fusion here in the first lap. Oh, they're very close with those two, trying to find a way around them, but they get halted. Rosebloods have been halted here, and Cold Fusion will fall off the course. Cold Fusion will fall off the course and go all the way to the back. That will give the Rosebloods a lifeline a little bit. They'll go up into 3rd place instead of 4th after this lap. But it's the Efficient Eggs with Omelette and the Bacon Bros with Carnitas that are both going to be in the transfer positions to the final after the first lap. The Rosebloods have the liberty of being the championship leaders. If they don't advance, they still have a chance to win this championship. But Water Lily, 2-time bronze medalists, they really want to get to that final. They really want to stay alive in this event and have a chance at big points here. With both the other 2 main contenders in the other semi-finals, it's a great chance at least one of them is going to move on here into the second lap. Efficient Eggs are well ahead of the Bacon Bros on back. Here come the Bacon Brawlers though, more speed in the high contact zone, but they're off. The Bacon Brawlers have gotten off. Now the Rosebloods in third place can't get around the Cold Fusion. The Cold Fusion will get behind into first place. The Cold Fusion will go from last to first in the second lap here. The Rosebloods, I thought they might have held on to second place after the Bacon Brawlers were done, but the Cold Fusion were on a rampage in the second lap. Hydrogen is trying to get another victory here in the marathon, going from last to first as the Fishing Eggs will fall down. Rosebloods will hold on to third place as it stands. Halfway done with the semi-final, there is still time to get into that top two, but now is really where you want to make your move here in the third lap, and off they go. There's a bit of a gap between the Cold Fusion and the Fishing Egg. It's starting to close now, and all closes up into the high contact zone. There's lots of contact, and the Rosebloods are stuck. The Rosebloods are completely stuck here. The Fishing Eggs have the lead now. They've got it back from the Cold Fusion, and they will lead ahead of the Cold Fusion and the Bacon Brawlers after the third lap. And now it's gone from bad to worse for the Rosebloods. It's a baptism of fire for them. They are in fourth place with one lap to go in the semi-final. If they don't advance here, they'll have to watch and wait in the other semi-final and hope that the Deep Divers and Pumpkin Patch don't advance to the final. But the Rosebloods need to find some way that they can get in that top two in this first semi-final here. Omelette leads Hydrogen, leads Carnitas, leads Water Lily. Water Lily has been excellent leading and holding on to a great position, but can they make a brilliant comeback here? They need to do it. And off they go. Oh, it's all very close here, and there is contact. Bacon Brawlers are stuck. That's one position Water Lily needs. And the Fishing Eggs are also stuck. The Fishing Eggs are also stuck, and as a result, Cold Fusion and the Rosebloods will hold on to first and second place in this first semi-final. The comeback has been made. They had a bit of fortune, did the Rosebloods. Had some DNFs out in front, but stayed close and pounced when necessary, and the Rosebloods have capitalized beautifully and are going on to the final. The pressure has been mounting on them, on Water Lily, for the entirety of this semi-final, but they have now switched it right on to the Pumpkin Patch and the Deep Divers in the other semi-final. Now, they have to advance to have any chance of winning. Cold Fusion and Rosebloods on to the final. Now, Seabed, Squash, Gloom and Chartreuse in the second semi-final. Deep Divers and Pumpkin Patch have to advance at all costs to have any chance of victory. They are in the top funnel, but the bottom two marbles are faster. Gloom and Chartreuse will be first and second out of the bottom funnels. Now the contenders are playing catch-up here as the Green Supreme will take the lead. Shadow Riders in second place, and the Green Supreme are off the course. Now, Shadow Riders will lead after the first lap. It's Gloom ahead of Seabed, ahead of Squash. Chartreuse was leading, got the lead ahead of the Shadow Riders early on here. But like they did in their heat, they've been struggling to keep it on the track, and they're going to be in last place after the first lap. But Gloom and Seabed in the transfer position, those old rivals coming back here in the semi-final. Squash currently in third place. That would not be enough to advance. That would not be enough for them to win the championship. The Pumpkin Patch have been excellent over the last few events, but it could all go to waste here if they can't win here. And off they go. Shadow Riders have the lead, then it's the Deep Divers. Pumpkin Patch, it's going to be very close here. Pumpkin Patch are trying to get around the Deep Divers. Deep Divers trying to get around the Shadow Riders. It gets close, but Deep Divers will go on the same lane as the Shadow Riders. They cannot get by. No changes after the second lap here. Halfway done with the semi-final. As it stands, Deep Divers would join the Rosebloods in the final, and the Pumpkin Patch would be done, and they would probably get third place in the championship here. The Green Supreme in last. They haven't exited that since the beginning of this semi-final, at least after the first lap. Gloom still leads ahead of Seabed and Squash. And off they go into lap 3. Here's where Deep Divers need to hold on, and the Pumpkin Patch need to find a way into that top 2. Deep Divers will take the lead. Shadow Riders have been shuffled to the back. Shadow Riders have completely lost it here, and the Pumpkin Patch will get by the Green Supreme. The Pumpkin Patch have gotten by into the top 2. The Deep Divers and Pumpkin Patch, as it stands, are now into the transfer positions. They have gotten their big break here. The Rosebloods sweating bullets now. They could be met by not one, but two contenders in this final. The Deep Divers and Pumpkin Patch, as it stands, all three of our top 3 are going to the final. Now the big question is, can they hold on to this top 2? They've done an excellent job of holding on and of getting to this position where with one lap to go they are both in a position to make it to the final. But Seabed and Squash needs to hold on to this top 2, and Seabed is well out in front. Huge contact at the beginning. They are going to require a DNF for them to not advance here. And Pumpkin Patch need to hold on ahead of the Shadow Riders. Deep Divers looks like they're going to make it, and the Pumpkin Patch, Green Supreme almost got by. It was close at the end, but the Green Supreme will not get there. The Pumpkin Patch have done it. The Deep Divers have done it. The Pumpkin Patch have done it. Both of them are going on to the final. And what a battle we have going on here. Rosebloods in the final, that we've been met with the Deep Divers and Pumpkin Patch joining them here. Our top 3 are all in the final. It's pretty much winner takes all here, as the Efficient Days, Green Supreme, Shadow Riders, and the Bacon Ballers were around at the final 5th to 8th classification of the season. But there you can see our finalists, Cold Fusion, the only team not really playing for the championship here. They're just trying to play spoiler here with the 3 contenders, Pumpkin Patch, Rosebloods, and the Deep Divers. Now the Pumpkin Patch and the Rosebloods just finished first among those 3. Either of those teams will win the championship. Deep Divers, all they need to do is beat the Rosebloods by at least 2 positions, also beat the Pumpkin Patch, and they will be champions. So almost certainly winner takes all for all 3 of these teams, and the Pumpkin Patch have the lead right now. Rosebloods in second, but as it stands, Pumpkin Patch will have it. Contact there, pushes Rosebloods back to 3rd place, Deep Divers in 2nd place. Pumpkin Patch lead after lap 1. As it stands, the fairy tale story is happening. The Venomous Vipers, what they couldn't do last season, in their whole season here, the Pumpkin Patch, in their first ever A Division, are trying to do it. They are trying to win their rookie season in the A Division. As it stands, they lead by 7 points in the championship ahead of the Rosebloods and 8 points over the Deep Divers. 2 former champions, 2 of the all-time greats of the Team Quadrilla Marble League, Pumpkin Patch, in their first title fight of any capacity, in their first ever A Division, are trying to do it here. It's a tight pack behind them with the Deep Divers and the Rosebloods, and the Pumpkin Patch are slow. Deep Divers will get by. Rosebloods are off the course. Cold Fusion is stuck on the course, and Rosebloods are off the course. Rosebloods will go back to 4th place. This is slipping away perhaps from the Rosebloods. The championship leaders have been clinical for this event. They've made a brilliant comeback in their semi-final to get back in the final now. But with the Deep Divers and Pumpkin Patch mounting pressure on them, they've been top 2 in the first laps of the final, while the Rosebloods are struggling to keep pace in this final. Seabed leads Squash as it stands. Deep Divers would be the champions here. They've gotten by the Pumpkin Patch. That's all they need to advance here to get this championship. Full lineup of captains with Seabed, Squash, Hydrogen, and Water Lily. Well, remember, if they can just get 1 position behind the Deep Divers, they will still do enough to beat them. But Seabed is well ahead in the funnel right now. They've done such a good job of getting such a big gap in the funnels that no one can cross them in the helices. And Pumpkin Patch now staving off the Rosebloods. Rosebloods will push aside Cold Fusion in the 3rd lap. That's 1 position they need to get closer to the Pumpkin Patch and the Deep Divers. The Rosebloods are still far from being champions here. Deep Divers, as it stands, would be our first two-time champions of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. As it stands, they would win Season 5 by 2 points over the Pumpkin Patch. 4 points over the Rosebloods, 2 points over the Pumpkin Patch. But Pumpkin Patch, if they make 1 spot, they will win. Rosebloods, if they make 1 spot, they will win. With 2 laps to go, it's all to play for here in the marathon. Tensions have never been higher here in the Team Quadrilla Marble League, and it's a close pack here out of the funnel. And it's going to be contact. Cold Fusion will take the lead, and 2 models are stuck. 2 models are stuck. Pumpkin Patch and Rosebloods are stuck in the high contact zone, and the Deep Divers will get by. Back in the lead, Seabed will get back ahead of Hydrogen, while Water Lily and Squash can do nothing but watch from above. Water Lily and Squash will have to see who is closer to the center. That will be the Marbles starting in 3rd place instead of 4th. And it's the Pumpkin Patch closer to the center. They'll be in 3rd heading into the final lap. But the Deep Divers, with Cold Fusion in between them and their rivals, Deep Divers are on pace to win Season 5. As it stands, they would win by 7 points over both the other teams. But still, anything could happen here in the marathon with 1 lap to go in this event and the season, and off they go. It's a big gap here. All marbles having gaps between each other. And the Pumpkin Patch and the Rosebloods need to make their move now. Cold Fusion are off the course. Now Pumpkin Patch need to gain. Rosebloods seem too far back. Pumpkin Patch will try to give it 1 last go. But the Deep Divers will hold on. The Deep Divers are your Team Quadrilla Marble League Season 5 champions. Seabed will hold off Squash and hold off Water Lily. Our 3 captains, they've been excellent. They've been a cut above the rest of the field in this event and in the rest of the tournament. But the Deep Divers, Seabed, will hold on, a legendary marble, etching their legendary team's name as the first 2-time champions of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. Squash and Water Lily giving it their best effort here. They will be very well-deserved podium sitters. But the Deep Divers are your champions of Season 5 and they will revel in this victory. The team 4 years ago that won the championship, the first champions here. 4 years later, they are our first two-time champions of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. What a marble is Seabed ahead of Squash and Waterley. These three captains have done excellently, but only one can win for their team. That will be Seabed. One of the most decorated marbles. They will just add another feather to their cap. Congratulations to the Deep Divers, the Pumpkin Batch, and the Rosebuds. Cold Fusion gave it their best as well in 4th place. Thank you all so much for watching this wonderful season of the Team Quadrilla Marble League. We will have, of course, the final Individual Quadrilla Marble League season, with Season 6 coming up after this, and the Quadrilla Marble Grand Prix in 2025 as well, so lots more to come. But for now, thank you so much, and enjoy the closing ceremony. So long, everyone.
you.